Welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Business. This is Amy Zander, your co-host, and of course I'm with Lisa Fisher. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing great, Amy. How are you doing? Tell me how are things going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. My daughter went back for her second year of college, so that's always, an interesting time. She's having a really good
Okay.
time. She's doing really well, and then my youngest is a senior now, so in high school. So it's a big transition year for us, but we're doing good. Yeah. So
Nice,
and I
nice.
and I'm in the beginning stages of planning the 2025 marketing summit, which will be in May. So I'll be talking more about that on the show as we get closer. But I have a committee this year and really excited, and we're bringing it back. So there'll be more information on that as we come. But that kind of ties into some of the things I've been doing around town because I've been looking at venues for the summit and I've been checking out some different things that, around town and venues and things like that. We have some specific things we need. So a lot of them aren't meeting the requirements that we have, but it's been fun to check out the different places that we have. And there's a lot of places in Lansing for people to host events. So including what we're talking about today, but we'll get into that.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Excellent. So, I went to the Grand Ledge Chamber of Commerce's golf outing out in Sunfields last week, and it was a great event. We had rain, but it didn't scare anybody off, and then the sun was shining and it was all great. So it was cool to see a lot of business faces out at the golf thing. And I was able to meet some folks that work with our guest.
Yeah. I
So,
feel like golfers are pretty hardy. Like they're and if you're into golf, you're like really into golf and like a little rain isn't gonna probably scare you away, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
cool. So Josh, have you done anything fun around town?
The most fun I had recently was the Lansing Art Gallery and Education Center downtown had a 59th anniversary party. Was that a week ago Friday? And it was really fun seeing the community come out for that and it's being part of the downtown nightlife. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I was there too. Yeah. So cool. All right. Well, Lisa, tell us who we've got today.
So we have Josh Pompey. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
All right. Josh has spent the past 20 years in a variety of retail positions, currently serving as regional manager for Consumers Credit Union, where he oversees the Lansing Market and municipal banking department. He also serves on the credit union's talent management team, the Unite Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and in the mentorship program. In his personal time, Josh volunteers with the Lansing Art Gallery, we just heard, and Education Center, coaches a variety of youth sports in his hometown of Bellevue, and enjoys spending time with his teenage daughters. So, welcome, Josh. We're glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Outstanding. So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. We read some things. You're a volunteer. You're a coach. You do all types of stuff. So dive in a little bit deeper to that. What types of sports do you coach?
So I'm winding that phase down a little bit here. Last year, I was our girls' varsity basketball assistant coach. My daughter's going into her junior year, and I think 7 years straight of me coaching at least one of her sports, if not all of them. She's probably had her fill. So this year it might be my first year trying to just be a parent in the stands. Hopefully, somebody will give me a job because I'm probably a terrible observer. But I've coached in Bellevue. So I'm from Battle Creek originally, but moved to Bellevue in my freshman year of high school. Moved away, moved to the east side of the state for a brief period of time. Ended up coming back to Bellevue. My daughter's in third grade. And from that point on, started coaching pretty much everything. I've done our travel softball program, middle school volleyball, middle school basketball. Then again, most recently, just kept basketball into last season. So
That keeps you busy. Keeps the kids busy, which is good.
it's been really rewarding, and these girls have taught me at least as much as I think I've taught them. Just uh, with women's athletics is really an amazing space. I think it's getting a lot of attention now with Caitlin Clark and some of the celebrities, some of the Olympic performances, and but it really is a great set of girls that we've had in Bellevue, great set of coaches and administrators, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of.
Nice.
Outstanding. How does coaching help you with your business and with work?
It's sometimes they're all exercises in patience, and really, I think the most important lesson is the reason I show up isn't necessarily the reason the people that I am responsible to support show up. And so, understanding how important each individual's motivation is to get the best out of people has really been, I think, the lesson. That group of middle school girls will teach you really fast that they are there for a very different reason than you are in some instances. So it's been great to bring with me in the professional environment.
I love that. I love it. So, can you tell us a little bit more about Consumers Credit Union and what they have to offer?
Absolutely. So, Consumers Credit Union started in 1951 in Kalamazoo. We were originally part of the Consumers Power family. So, there was about a 500-person Consumers Energy shop in Kalamazoo. We were also affiliated with the Palisades Power Plant in South Haven, which those are where our two oldest offices are. We just opened up our 29th office in Michigan, here in Lake Lansing, or on Lake Lansing in front of Eastwood Town Center, which is where I'm at today. We now have 4 offices in Lansing, and we're continuously expanding. So we're in the Grand Rapids market, Kalamazoo, Lansing, and then the Lake Michigan Lake Shore, from South Haven up to Muskegon and Battle Creek and Coldwater.
Wow.
That's a big reach. That's a
It
big reach. Do you
it
travel
is.
each of those, or do you stay pretty much in a specific region?
It's a great question. So our headquarters is still in Kalamazoo. I spend most of my time here in Lansing, but then I do also work with our municipal banking team, and they're covering the entire credit union. So I'll tend to travel and meet that team. I like to see the other offices and see how the other markets are doing. So, but mostly my responsibilities are right here in Lansing.
Excellent, excellent. So, what types of things do you focus on in the communities that you have your locations?
Sure. I think Amy teed me up for this one really nice. So it's golf themed, right? I'll take a swing at event spaces. So one of the best ways I think we get back to Lansing is at our regional headquarters on South Cedar Street, right next to Lowe's. We're pretty much right on the Holt border there. We have a really beautiful office, and it's unique to any office in the credit union in that it has an event space that seats 68 people. It's actually 2 sides. We've been able to host a lot of really great events there. There's so many awesome nonprofits and agencies here in Lansing. And the fact that we've been able to give a meeting space, we don't charge for the space. The team at that office really are the ones that manage it as well. So typically it's
Mhm.
available during business hours, but we've had a lot of nonprofits, some government agencies be able to make use of the space there. And that has been, I think, a really fun way to give back and get involved and just meet some of these amazing organizations that are doing so much to support the community.
Yeah, that's kind of how we met and how you got involved, being on the board of the art gallery, right? But with
It,
using that event space and stuff.
Absolutely. So when we moved in, there's this huge vestibule area, the way the space is set up, and it just was begging for art on the walls. And so our facilities team, we talked and thought we'd try to connect with a local organization. And to keep the story short, we met the Lansing Art Gallery and found out about the Ingham County Student Art Competition that the gallery supports, where we get over 300 entries into this competition every year from the various school districts in Ingham County. And so now we have a rotating gallery at the event space there where every year we get to display about 15 new pieces of student artwork. And this coming March, April, when the newest set comes in, we'll be able to throw a party for the students whose art on the wall, let them take it home, invite their families in to the event space. And it's been neat. We've had a couple instances where family members of some of the artists have been there as part of their business and professional life. And, getting to see your nephew or grandchild's art on the wall has been really, I think people had fun with that. And it's been cool to have that space out there for people.
Yeah, and what a nice thing that you don't even charge for that event space. But typically, it's available to nonprofits and things like that, right?
We will let for-profits businesses use it as well. So we have a couple groups that will use it for board retreats. Really, Sarah Adams, the manager of that office, um, will like meet with the organization. Our big thing is we don't want other companies or entities trying to make money off of that space. So we don't do any events that are charged to attend. But we won't just, and we do keep it business focused. So as much as I've tried to use it for a birthday party and things, it's probably not the best spot for that.
Right.
But no, if you're a for-profit business and you just want an offsite, you want to change the scenery, and you want a place with 50 on-site parking spaces, I've learned what a commodity that is in Lansing recently. So,
Hmm.
but no, we'd love to invite the conversation, and find out what you'd want to use it for and how we could support it. So I just think it's nice to bring people together. Post COVID, I think so many organizations either downsized or during the height of the pandemic just stopped doing everything in person, and so it's been fun to see groups come back together and get to have those in-person meetings and share and grow together in our space.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Josh, we talked a little bit about the fact that you travel somewhat to some of these different locations, but how do you mostly spend your day? What do you do?
It's a mix. So I have 4 offices here in Lansing, and great office managers in each of them. But a good part of my day is just making sure they have what they need to serve the members in the Lansing community. Um, I try to make sure that we have, being new in the area, a lot of people don't know who we are. So making sure that we're set up with some promotions, some offers to give people a reason to stop in and check us out. Um, Spending time with meeting groups like yours, different organizations that are here to promote Lansing business and make sure I can understand what the business community needs and help let people know how we can serve. So trying to be that voice for the credit union in the area. And then really anything else. As you noticed just from the intro, I like a lot of different things. And so a big part of my day is just seeing where I can serve, where I might be able to help a different department out, help a business out. It's pretty varied.
Hmm.
In your bio, now that you mentioned it, you talked about you were in the mentorship program. Tell us a little bit more about what that mentorship program is, please.
Absolutely. It is one of my favorite parts of the credit union. And this is a really core part of our culture. Our CHRO, Sean Premer, a lot of people in the Lansing area know her. She was the chair of the Greater Lansing Society for Human Resource Managers for a period of time, and started her career here before moving to lead the HR team at our organization. And she instilled this mentorship program. So it's a formal 9-month program that we've done. I've been with the credit union 8 years, and we've done it every year that I have been here. And I've been on both sides. I've been a mentee and a mentor. But people can submit applications to be a mentor. People who are growing their career can submit applications to be a mentee. Our HR team does an awesome job pairing people up by interests, sort of strengths and opportunity areas. And then it's pretty fluid the way the pairs meet. But we, over that 9-month period, have a regular series of meetings. My mentor is still one of the first numbers I call if I need, even though we've been years removed from the official program. It's been a relationship that if I need a sounding board for ideas, I can always call Steve, and we have a great conversation about it. And I have a couple Lansing team members that are participating in it, and it's really nice to have that other avenue of exposure with a credit union. Most of the team members here in Lansing are newer, and to be able to pair up with somebody that's maybe more seasoned, been with the organization a little bit longer, it's been a great way to maintain our culture and help it spread as we continue to grow.
What has that done for retention for your organization?
It's huge, and I know I couldn't give you the exact number. I know the anecdotally we outperform our peers in industry as far as retention metrics go year over
Mhm.
year, and especially as you get into the middle management levels and up, our leaders have been here for a long time and tend to not leave, and it's been huge for that. I think talking culturally, and adjacent to this, another really cool retention piece, we have something that we call a grab an assignment program. And sometimes these conversations come out of the mentorship program. It's actually part of my story. If the credit union wants to explore a new area, or maybe a department just has a short project that they need some additional support for, you can apply for almost like an internal internship. And so when we started our government banking program back in 2020, we weren't sure if it was going to be a permanent piece of the credit union. So we did one of these grabs. It was a 90-day, hey, we want to learn more. Can we operate in this space and be successful? And I applied for it after a lot of conversations with my mentor at the time. And it really changed the trajectory of my career. But it was nice because for a lot of employees, if your interests maybe have grown beyond the role that you're currently in, between the mentorship program, the grab an assignment program, we have a lot of ways to help you stay with the credit union, but take on a new role, something that might align with your interests more with where you're at today.
It sounds like you do a lot of investing in the community and a lot of investing in your employees.
We really do. Like you mentioned, I think as we were getting ready to key this up, the golf outing, and our team loves to be present in those events. The Grand Ledge Chamber, our manager over there has been involved with that organization for a long time, and we really do. We try to support the communities that are supporting us and support the team members as well as much as we can.
That's fantastic. What really did you know all of this stuff before coming and working there? Did you learn it as you got there? What drew you to consumers?
It's a really interesting story. So my background is actually in retail jewelry. I was with K Jewelers for 13 or 14 years. I thought I was going to retire there, and some personal life changes happened, and the schedule really got me considering if there was another opportunity. And I had a good friend who had been bugging me for years to come check out Consumers Credit Union, and banking was never on my radar. And I do have a business degree, but I just never considered the banking industry. And at that point, I was in the middle management level, so I'd been in my career for a period of time, and I thought I don't want to start over. I don't know anything about this business. And what's really cool about the credit union is we really do hire for culture. We can teach how to do the banking, how to provide banking services, what the different products mean, but from the top down, I think it was 4 interviews before anybody asked me a question that might suss out my qualifications to actually do the job. And we still keep that cultural interview process today, where there is a 3-person panel interview in the process, usually people in a completely different department that you'll never have any direct responsibilities to or with, that just sit down for an hour and tell you what it's like to work here and ask what you look for in an employer. And I think that focus on culture, it really it just creates an environment where people want to show up to work. We enjoy working with each other. We bring a lot of people that can add their unique stories and backgrounds, whether it's from the finance industry or not. And I think that's what helps us be unique, and then also find these unique ways to support the communities that we're in.
Right. I like the fact that it seems like a lot of industries are shifting towards that, focusing more on culture. And it seems you guys can probably attest to this more, Lisa, especially because you do a lot of training with businesses. But when somebody interviews for a job now, it seems like it's equal side interviewing. Like they're interviewing the person, but the person's always also interviewing the company. Like, do I want to work here? Is this really a good fit for me too? Not just the paycheck. And I think that is a good way to also increase your retention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We do see that a lot with the people entering the workforce now. Like I think my parents both had one job. My dad had a post-retirement job, but for 45 years, my mom worked for Kellogg's. Like again, I'll probably have had 2 adult careers, but I think was the average person entering the workforce now is expected to have like north of 10 different careers before they retire. And I do hope that this focus on where you want to work and who you want to work with and the kind of ways you want to be impacting the world around you, maybe that does shift that trajectory a little bit. If people can find the right organization, that we can stay and grow those relationships and just keep finding ways to do what we love where we're at.
yeah. So quick question. Just had me thinking. So when I think sometimes when people think of a banker or working at a bank, their initial thought is like counting money, being the teller, that kind of stuff. But can you kind of briefly go through like some of the other jobs and careers that you can have working for a credit union that isn't like necessarily having with an accounting degree?
Oh, I love this question. If I came on as a teller, I don't know that I would still be here today. I can't count. I'm thankful that I don't have to very often. So that is still one role. So for people that have been in to visit us, and it's really not just consumers. I know a lot of different credit unions in the area have gone to sort of a digital teller. We call ours a Teller Plus machine, but kind of a fancy ATM where you can get almost like what we're doing here over a screen teller. That job's still there. So most of our tellers today aren't really counting money very often. There's a machine that's interfacing that, but it is about efficiently completing transactions and serving members. So that job still exists. It's different than it was even 5 years ago. And then I think, again, typical, you think of the loan officers, people that maybe been around a little bit longer that are there to help meet the borrowing needs of the members in front of them. But we have, so at Consumers, we have our own marketing department, including a videographer who is an FHA licensed drone pilot. And if you ever follow our social medias, we love to go to businesses and sort of shoot the work that our business partners are doing in the community and sort of show off the way they're impacting their business. So we have a whole team dedicated to that. We've got a graphic designer who's an amazing artist, and she does these really cool little stickers, among other things, all of our promotional materials. She does a lot of fun things for us to give away to our members. And I think most credit unions and banks have their own marketing team. Our IT is all in-house. We have 12, 15 employees, all with a variety of IT backgrounds from web development. We have workflow developers that work within our system, helping streamline our day-to-day process for the frontline team. Excuse me. We have a compliance and legal background team that makes sure we're doing things the right way and protects the credit union, protects our members. The list goes on. I know I'm missing some department. We have a mortgage department, and like many banks and credit unions, where people that uh, have that sort of background can be a part of an organization, supporting the community, but still help originate mortgage loans. Um, Business lending and business banking. So for people who are really focused in that area, Consumers Credit Union has a really large and dedicated commercial banking team. So yeah, there's the artists, IT people. If you just have a servant heart and you want to, money matters to people, and it can be a big stressor. So if you just want to find a way to serve and help people live their best life, you can find a home inside of the financial industry for sure.
I love that. So, as you're creating this culture and you're inviting all of these different gifts and talents to come into work, how does that spill over into your customer base?
That's a really good question. So I think our members are really a huge reflection of our team. One initiative we've had for a couple of years now is been focused around removing language as a barrier to banking. We found that we have a lot of members that Spanish is their preferred language. And so we've gone out, and just here in Lansing alone, 3 of our 4 offices have a Spanish speaking bilingual member service representative full time on site. And so I think it works both ways. I think our member base sort of helps us find the team members that can best serve them. And then as our team members go home and talk to their friends and family about where they work, and we do get great internal employee survey scores. People really do enjoy working here. So their networks tend to come in and bank with us. We do also, as we talk about outreach in the community, we really want to support local charities, local organizations. So when we have a team member that's passion is already being lived through a nonprofit organization, we want to see how we can continue to support that organization, whether it be the Grantlet chamber work. When we hired Keith, he was already involved in the chamber. Clearly, he was passionate about it. So, hey, how can we get involved too? What does the chamber need? What events can we sponsor? And I think so. It works both ways, where the interests of our team help attract members that are in those circles, and then as we get new members, they help open our eyes to other ways we can serve and other sorts of team members we want to try to bring on board to serve them better.
That's excellent. I don't want to forget to talk about the scholarship program that you guys have.
Yes, we do a consumer scholarship every spring. It does, one requirement is being a member of the credit union, but you can sign up through the process. But this past year we had 11 winners, and we will get that information out to the area schools. It is important for us to give back, and again, every community that we're in, I believe this past winter was in the Grand Rapids schools area. Would selfishly love to see a bunch of Lansing students submit their applications. The scholarship, the essay, so it'll be an essay. The finalists get selected to submit a video, and then internally we have a credit union wide voting process and some internal scoring. But then a winner's selected for sort of the grand prize. But it's always a really fun time around the credit union. And I am so amazed. I don't know if you all have had this experience as you interview people or just in your networks. I feel like I was pretty involved in my high school years. These kids that submit these applications for the sponsorship blow me away with just their servant hearts and their leadership, and the way at 17, 18 these people are impacting their communities is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. And they have a lot of energy.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great program. I had the opportunity to share it because I went in and spoke over at LCC at their marketing department. And it was so funny because Keith had just mentioned that at the chamber meeting, and someone was like, I'm like, I kind of always ask the question, how can I best support you? And they were asking for scholarship opportunities. And I'm like, I know of one.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So these scholarship opportunities are for high school seniors for college. That's
correct.
Okay.
Correct. And trade schools.
Yeah.
So anywhere where you're going to get some sort of certification to further your career opportunities.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. It as a parent of a college kid and then a senior high school, and I'm sure you're starting to get this too, Josh. You said your daughter's a junior.
Correct.
It's like so many emails and mailers about colleges and scholarships and like all this stuff. It's like you're so inundated with that stuff. It's crazy, but a lot of it's online now, which is great. I remember back in the day when I applied for college, I had to hand write out my applications and all that stuff. So it's a lot better now, but there's it's nice. So how do you get the word out to people? You said you go to the schools and let them know that this is
correct. Yes, we have some internal committee, people that are really passionate about this, that already have a list of all the school districts that are within our area. If any of your listeners are involved with a school that didn't know about this last year, we can get them on the list to make sure that the guidance counselors wherever their students are find out. Any of the Michigan schools will be able to support with this with the scholarship program. So, and again, like I said, the membership of the applicant that can happen during the process if they're not already members of the credit union. That's not a barrier. So,
and to become a member, they basically open up a bank account or something like that, or
correct. Yeah. There's for minors, we do have to have a guardian,
sure,
an 18-year-old responsible party involved, but.
Sure.
We try to eliminate as many barriers as we can with that process, make it simple and accessible. So,
right.
And then the same with the essay question. I would say it was 500 words last time, and we try to pick a question that's similar enough. There's a good chance that the student's already written an essay that they can maybe just tune a little bit and resubmit to us. So we don't want to add the workload to these seniors. So
yeah. So a quick question just about credit unions in general, and this is my just not knowing about this. So, I'm an MSU grad, and so way back in the day, I became a member of the MSU credit union. But back then, when I first signed up, it's like you had to be a graduate, or like my dad could open an account because I was a graduate. He was related to me. Is that so much the case with credit unions? You have to be somehow affiliated to a certain organization to be a member?
It's a really good question. It used to be, yes, even for us, it was consumers' power back at our heritage. But there have been some different laws passed that have sort of changed the charter options credit unions have. So for us, you can become a member of Consumers Credit Union if you live, work, or worship in the state of Michigan and some select counties in northern Indiana. That's our newest expansion. We already have an office in Coldwater and Branch County. It's right on the border of Indiana. So we're currently expanding to serve some of those northern border counties in Indiana. So for us, there is no longer an affiliation required. And I would I would say most credit unions have moved in that direction, that it might be a geographic charter requirement. But there are still some credit unions that are closed unless you're a member of an organization. So, but most of the ones I think where you see a lot of advertisement out in the community, we can serve you if you live or work in the community.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I appreciate that clarification.
Absolutely.
I'm sure our listeners do too. Yeah. So, Josh, this has been a great conversation. I love to hear more about this. It is a beautiful space. I encourage our listeners to check out that event space is in your South Lansing office, which is in Cedar Street. Right by Lowe's. That's what you said, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. 9619. Nope, that's not the right address. Not gonna have it. We'll have to edit that part out.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll
it is.
put it. We put all that stuff in the show notes for the episode, so it'll be there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is right next door to Lowe's in South Lansing.
Yeah,
Great.
and see cool art while you're there.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. So I encourage our listeners to check out that credit union, if not for becoming a member, to check out the event space and the other things that you guys offer.
Yeah, there is no requirement. It's membership requirement for that event space. So again, if you've got an organization, another really neat, if I can get another plug for that in real quick, we have the ability to host hybrid meetings there. So we've had some nonprofits that, for whatever reason, wanted to be able to bring people in that couldn't physically be in the space. And so that's a great, we've got an account our visitors can use, create a hybrid meeting, send it out to their attendees. And so it can be a space just if you don't have the technology where we can support you that way as well.
Excellent. Before we wrap up here, is there anything that you want to say that we didn't cover?
No, this is awesome. I guess I do one thing. As a Lansing transplant, I guess, I love this community. All your listeners, thank you. Everybody's been so welcoming to all of our offices, our team members, the different organizations that we've had the chance to work with. Are truly inspiring. And I know actually our board of directors and our executive team just had a board retreat here in Lansing. And I know everybody was really excited to hear about Lansing is energizing. There's so much cool stuff going on. And so for somebody who's not from here originally, thank you to everybody for being so welcoming, and kudos to all the cool stuff that is going on and all the ways that the community is being supported. It's really fun to be a part of.
Wow, that's good to hear. I agree.
Perfect. Nicely said.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being on our show. We really appreciate it. And we encourage our listeners to check out Consumers Credit Union.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Such a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on another adventure. We release new episodes every Wednesday. You can find us at zdiantmedia.com or wherever you listen to your podcast. And don't forget our YouTube channel to see Lisa's beautiful face. So thank you so much, everybody. And as always, go out and make it an adventure.
This is a Zedia Media production.